This video, I'm answering your questions about moving to Chicago. What's up, everyone? This is Living in Chicago. I'm Joe Scott. I make videos about what it's like to live in Chicago, the neighborhoods, places to go, things to do, everything you should know. So if that is the kind of content you're looking for, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm also a real estate agent here in Chicago. So if you're planning to move to the Chicagoland area, reach out to me. I make the process easy and convenient for you. Okay, let's get into these questions about moving to Chicago. Okay, I get sent a lot of questions about Chicago in general, people who are moving here to buy, rent, etc. through my YouTube, Instagram, email. So I figured I would put together a bunch of the questions and just answer them. Pretty simple. So I've got about 5 or 6 questions I'm going to get to, and I'm going to answer them best I can. So let's get it going. Got some sound effects, people. That's going to be our little chime for every question that pops up. Okay, the first question I have, which neighborhood is the best for nightlife? This is a great question, especially if you're single, or if you want to be in an area that has a lot going on the weekends. You don't want to travel too far to get to a bar, get to a restaurant. So it's 2 neighborhoods that are popping to mind for me: West Loop and River North. I think those are the 2 ideal neighborhoods for nightlife if you want to be in a neighborhood where all of that is surrounding you. Now, there's going to be a little bit of a difference between the nightlife in the West Loop versus the nightlife in River North, but it also depends on the type of place you want to live. River North is going to be more so heart of downtown, closer to it, a bunch of high-rises, big buildings, one-way streets. West Loop is a bit more neighborhood feel. It does have a lot more commercial buildings popping up, but it really does have a little bit more of a neighborhood feel. So I guess between those 2 restaurants, a lot of the nicer restaurants in the city, Restaurant Row was in the West Loop. The nightlife in the West Loop has picked up over the years as far as the bars, but if you're looking for a lot of the more popular bars, all the suburbanites and everybody rushes to, all that's going to be in River North. But either way, you can't lose. West Loop, River North, 2 great neighborhoods for nightlife. All right, the next question we're going to move into: how bad are the winters? The winters can be a handful. I'm actually recording this right now. We're in the middle of a polar vortex. It's been no warmer than 10 degrees the last 5 days, and I don't think it's going to get warmer than 15 degrees over the next week. It's just going to be cold. But overall in Chicago, it's really not that bad. I know that's an extreme for me to say, hey, it's 10 degrees outside. It doesn't get that bad. But we really have about 4 weeks of what I would say bad weather, where it's either frigid cold or snow. But it's not like that usually every winter or all winter. Like I said, usually about 4 weeks or so of temperatures and weather that you're like, oh, I just don't want to go outside. But overall, it's really not that bad. The most important thing for the winter is understanding how to drive when there's snow on the ground, understand how to drive and park. If you're parking outside, you have a street spot, it takes a little bit of skill to get in and out of these parallel parking situations once there's been snowfall. So you got to get used to that. You also have to get used to the type of shoes to wear, clothing. Winter's not that bad if you dress properly. I find a lot of people that come from out west, they come from the south, they don't dress properly. You need layers. I mean, I'm saying at least 4 to 5 layers between your skin and the elements, okay? Don't get a skinny coat. It's not time to be cute. Get yourself a thick, warm coat. Make sure you have your hat, your gloves, etc. on. Honestly, if you don't skimp on any of that, you will be okay. But that's the biggest thing I find. People don't know how to dress appropriately in the winter, and coming from warmer climates, it's going to feel colder anyway, and not dressing properly is going to make it seem worse. So dress properly and understand the first few days of cold, the first few days of winter, it's cold to me too. So understand it's going to take a little bit for your body to get used to it, but it's not that bad. And I'm going to say between April and September, Chicago makes up for those, what I think, really bad 4 weeks of weather through the winter. It makes up for it 10 times. All right, so that's what you need to know about the winter. Next question. I'm moving to Chicago. I'm considering the South Loop or the West Loop. Which one do you think is better? Good question. Now, I would need a little bit more information on the type of area the person would want to live in, But between the South Loop and the West Loop, if I had my option, if I didn't have any budget constraints, I'd want to stay in the West Loop. The West Loop just has more to offer. It's a convenient location. There's restaurants. There's nightlife. It's just more going on. You're closer to grocery stores. It's just I feel just a better overall neighborhood if I had my choice in it for those reasons. The South Loop is a nice neighborhood. I'm not knocking it at all, but I just think compared to the West Loop, it's missing a lot. It doesn't have the restaurants. It doesn't have the bars. It doesn't have, in certain pockets of the South Loop, you have close proximity to grocery stores and shopping, but it's a little bit spread out. It doesn't have that neighborhood feel like the West Loop. Also, the South Loop is a little bit on its own, right? You're right there next to the lake. There's not really a neighborhood that bumps up to it on the west. A little bit of a dead zone right there. Once you go south, you got Bronzeville, but it's pretty much over there on its own. So, like I said, the rent and the purchase to purchase a place will be a little bit better in the South Loop as far as the price, a little bit more affordable depending on the South Loop compared to the West Loop. But altogether, I'm going to say West Loop hands down beats the South Loop. If the budget's not an issue, that's where I'd be right there. So West Loop wins that one on the Neighborhood Showdown. All right, next question we have. Should I fly into Midway or OHare? So for people who don't know, we have two international airports here in Chicago. We have Midway and we have OHare. OHare is the larger of the two. It's the main airport. It's one of the biggest airports in the country. And Midway is, I guess, it's the smaller of the two. It's still international. Midway is going to be in the south part of the city, and OHare is kind of like the northwest part, just outside of the city, the northwest part of the city. So my favorite is Midway. That's because where I live, I'm in Little Italy. It's a downtown neighborhood that's, basically almost just barely south part of the downtown neighborhoods here in Chicago. But if you're anywhere south, Midway, it's easier to get to. I think catching the flight's easier. It's not as congested. It's not as big. It's just easier to get to, get in and out. But if you live in a northern neighborhood or a northern suburb, northwest suburb, O'Hare's probably going to be more convenient for you. If you're searching for the cheapest flights, you're going to have more options going through O'Hare than you would Midway. If you're a Southwest Airlines person, they fly through Midway. But like I said, if you're able to have a flight that makes sense out of Midway, that's where I'm always going to go. Like I said, it's a smaller airport, more convenient. The travel for me makes more sense when traffic does kick up. Now, O'Hare's not far. It's about probably a 20-minute drive from the downtown, a 25-minute drive, no traffic. Same with Midway. But when there is traffic, O'Hare can be an hour and 15 minutes, where Midway might be about 45 minutes. So even with bad traffic, Midway is just easier to get to. So Midway all day if you have that choice. Next question. Is it tough to find parking in Chicago? It depends on the neighborhood. Depends on where you're at and what you're trying to do. Neighborhood depends on that. Depends on time of day. And depends on the type of parking you're looking for. If you're looking for a meter or if you're looking for a residential street spot. So this person really didn't give any specifics, but I'm going to jump into the two different options and just talk about the parking here in Chicago. So here in Chicago, parking on the street during the day, you're going to have meters. The meters are not cheap. A lot of them will have a 2-hour limit on you being able to stay there. The price for the parking is going to depend on the neighborhood. Some neighborhoods it's like $2 for an hour. Some neighborhoods it's $9 for an hour. And some neighborhoods the meters stop at 6 p.m. Some neighborhoods the meters go 24 hours. When it comes to residential parking, and like you're parking around your neighborhood, a lot of times we'll have zones. So if you live in a certain area, you can get a zone sticker, which means only people who live in the area are allowed to park on those streets. That's a good thing. But even though you have that zone sticker, it doesn't mean that you're still going to be able to find a spot. So you might want to take a drive around the neighborhood to see what do the streets look like around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. when people get off work. It doesn't matter if the streets are empty or is parking available at, 11:30 a.m. or 2 p.m. Everybody's at work. That's not a good gauge. You need to look and see what parking is like once everybody's off work and when they get home. If you see the streets packed, it's going to be an issue for you. So you need to keep in mind that. Also with parking, I just want to say, when you come to Chicago, they're going to get you. Sooner or later, and usually it happens sooner for people who aren't from here, you're going to get that parking ticket. It's just the way it is. You're going to walk up to your car one day, and you're going to have that nice orange envelope on the windshield waiting for you. And it's probably going to be anywhere between a $60 to $100 ticket depending on what the violation was. So don't get discouraged. It's kind of a rite of passage if you're driving here in the city, but you're going to get that ticket. A lot of it has to do with a lot of people coming from different states, the suburbs, et cetera. They're not used to all of these parking restrictions and different types of restrictions that are all over the place. So here's some tips real quick for parking in the city. One, pay attention to the signs. Read them. But don't only pay attention to the closest sign to your car, because there could be a sign right next to your car that says no parking, for example, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. If it's 2 p.m., you're like, okay, I'm good. It's not 4 o'clock yet. I'm good. No, just don't trust that sign. Look all the way down the street, because there might be other signs on the same street further down that contradict the one that's closest to you. Or it might say tow zone from noon to midnight, so right down the street. That means you can't park there. So you got to search the whole block. All right, search the whole block. But sometimes even if you do search the whole block, you may misread a sign. You're going to misread a sign, maybe get a ticket, but that'll be the last time you misread that sign. So just, hey, make sure you pay attention. You're probably going to get a ticket no matter how well you look out for yourself. That's just the way Chicago goes. But anyway, that's the way it's parking. It can be a bit of a hassle for new people, but you'll get a hang of it. Moving on to the next question, we have a social question. How much are drinks at bars? This person here is concerned about their budget and how much they'll be able to splurge when they kick it. Okay, it's going to depend on the type of establishment you're at, and it's going to depend on the day of the week. Right? Some places during the work week, during happy hours, they're going to have cheaper drinks than they are going to have on a Friday, Saturday night. I will tell you this for beers. You're going to be somewhere between $4 to $7 a beer. Happy hours might get you something a little bit cheaper. If you're looking for a mixed cocktail, looking for one of those, vodka sevens, whatever you may drink, it's going to be somewhere between, I would say, $9 to $15. And it can be even higher depending on where you're at. That's what it's going to be for mixed drinks. So keep an eye on that. But like I said, happy hours, you can have things a little bit cheaper. And like I said, the neighborhoods are going to be a big factor on that as well. Grabbing a beer in West Town is going to be a little bit different than grabbing a beer in River North or Streeterville or the West Loop when, things are busy on the weekends. So depending on the neighborhood, but those are about the averages. About 4 to 7 on beers, and the mixed drinks go from 9 to 15. Shots are going to be right there in the same range with the mixed drinks as well. So I hope that helps you out, and I guess plan accordingly with that budget for all the drinking out there you plan to do. Whoever sent this question in, I didn't write the names down, the people who put the questions in. I probably should have done that. I'll do that next time. All right, on to the next question. Is going to a Cubs game worth it? Yes. Yes, it's worth it. It's always worth it. Now, going to a Cubs game, you got a couple different options. Now, you can actually go to Wrigleyville, not actually go inside of the park and still have a good time. Or you can go inside the park. Tickets can be a bit expensive. The prices have skipped up a lot since they've done all the new construction, new ownership. Look, it's going to cost you and somebody else, you're going to be spending about $100, $150, depending on the ticket, where sometimes you can walk up to the scalpers. They usually hang out on the corners right around the ballpark. If you can walk up to them right as the game is starting or right at the beginning of the first inning, sometimes you can get some reasonably priced tickets. You can get it for face value and even below. But beyond that, you're going to pay a nice little penny for it. But a good option for you if you don't have that money, just get into the park, because once you get in, that's just for the seats. You still got to get your hot dogs, your beer, etc. It's going to cost you a couple $100 to enjoy the game. Another option for you is just go to Wrigley, and usually on game days, the bars and everything they're busy. It's a good environment. Now COVID is just ending. Bars aren't busy, but once things get back to normal and there can actually be a full bar or at least 50% capacity, you'll have a nice environment. There'll be people out. You can watch the game, get you some food, save that $150+ you were going to pay on the tickets, watch the game, spend it on food, and be in a good environment with friends. So Cubs games are definitely worth it. They're awesome. I'm a Cubs fan, but I'm not biased in my answer because of that. But really, it's a good environment, a good place to go kick it and enjoy yourself and have a good time. All right, moving on to the last question of this round. Is it safe to ride a bike in the city? And, I don't know. I don't know. I would say it's as safe as you are while you're on it, because you have to look out for so many different things when you're on your bike. It's not just you and you making sure you're abiding by the rules and you're paying attention. You have to look out for people who are not paying attention. Me, I would never ride a bike on the streets of Chicago, and it's just I'm just not that guy that's gonna be biking with cars flying by me on these streets. Now, a lot of parts of the city, they've done a lot in Chicago to make it more bike friendly. When you go downtown, they've widened up the bike lanes. There's actually on the stoplights, the street lights, the signs actually has like bikes lights, so bikes can go and traffic stops for them. They're really working on downtown to make it more bike friendly, and that's great. But for me, I'm not messing with it. If you do want to ride a bike in Chicago, I would suggest that you just read up on the rules here, because you want to make sure you're doing the right things in case somebody is not paying attention. You want to make sure you're in the right. You want to make sure you're looking out for people opening their doors. Here's one thing: people who ride their bikes, you're supposed to pay attention to the rules of the road. Stop signs, you're supposed to stop. Stop lights, you're supposed to stop. A lot of bikers, they fly through stop signs. They fly through red lights. They just kind of do their own thing. So if you're going to be on a bike, do your best to be safe, but you have to look out for other people. I like Lakeshore Drive. Now, if you can get your bike to Lakeshore Drive and ride up and down Lakeshore, that's money. I would love to do that, but, you got to still get to Lakeshore, which would mean you got to get on the streets, and that's not me. But either way, like I said, people are on bikes all the time. I see people all day, every day riding their bikes, and more power to them. I'll never get on one, but there are a lot of people who solely get around on their bike in the city. So if you pay attention, you understand the rules, you look out not only for yourself, for other people, I think you'll be good. So that's my answer on that question. Now, that is it for the questions for today. Like I said before, hey, I make videos about Chicago, what it's like to live here, things to do, places to go. If this is the kind of content you're looking for, please hit that subscribe button. If you have some questions that you would like me to answer, put them in the comments below. I'm going to make some more of these videos going forward. And like I said, if you are planning to move to Chicago, buy, rent, even if you think about selling in the area, reach out to me. I make it easy and convenient for you. I'm Joe Scott, guys. This is Living in Chicago. I'll see you next video. All right.